correct?
Paula
Oh, and Paula, of course.
Andrew.
Your brother.
And
It's ex parte.
Andrew's not here, but
Excuse me?
Jeff is here.
Oh.
Andrea.
Okay,
And
so,
Ruth.
first of all, we have a visitor, the very famous Annika Norris, with our Main Street accreditation report.
Yeah.
Well, come on down.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, as we all know, your accreditation went really well this year. It goes well every year because I think you guys work together so well as a board. Joan leads you well. There were a few changes this year. I don't know if you all noticed as much, but there was a lot more emphasis on what National Main Street calls a transformation strategy, and what we call in Oakland County, to make it a little more straightforward and specific, it's an economic strategy. Because I don't think we need to go out and transform all of our communities. I think we need to make sure that we understand and focus what brings people to the downtown. Why are they coming? What are they coming for? And how do you build upon that? And so basically what the transformation strategy is that. It's making sure that we're looking at what your overall economic strategy is in all 4 points, and kind of everything we do, to make sure that there's a reason why we do things. Kind of like looking at our work plan and making sure that we're not holding event just because somebody started that event 30 years ago, and even though that it's dwindling and not many people are coming, that we still keep holding the event. And that's not to say that you're doing that by any means. That's just to kind of explain it. And I think that we can strongly say that why you do the few events that you do and do really, really well, there's a reason that you do that, right? We're not an event organization. We're an economic development organization that holds a few key strategic events to really make our downtown shine. So we think you guys are doing that well, but we would like to take a little more focus and make sure everyone understands and agrees on what your overall economic strategy is. And how we do that is provide you some like statistics and background data on who your customers are, where they're spending their money. We use ESRI data. And then we also use Placer AI, which I believe I've talked to you guys about, which is cell phone data that we have access to, that pulls a ton of stats and really helps us understand where your customers are coming from and where they're spending your money.
And Annika, the ESRI data is the demographics, right?
Demographics, yes, yeah, which is pulled from census data. And so the two of those combined make some pretty powerful observations, I guess, about your customers, your general customers. And some of the things that Joan and I talked about before to make sure that we were ready, kind of like 6 or 8 months prior to the accreditation, was we did run both of those data sets, and we showed Joan that information. And Eric is on our staff, and he's really good at that. I can look at it when it's all done and really understand it, but sometimes the data is a little overwhelming, especially using the census data, because there's 12 different categories that they talk about, so you kind of can do a deep dive. And so he kind of does that deep dive and summarizes it for you. But one of the things that we'd like to kind of focus on for next year's evaluation is getting a little deeper into that information with you. And I think it's not difficult, and it's super beneficial. We know that you guys have a lot of specialty businesses, specialty restaurants that draw people from quite a distance to come here. And you're already doing a lot of the right things. We just need to show a little bit better how everything aligns and is one, just kind of like when you have a goal and objective, to write out the goal and what the objective is and how you're going to get there, because you're already doing it. So with that, there were a couple of really, I thought, nice comments in here. additionally about things that you're doing really well. When we were talking about the overall organization and culture of the organization, I think it's really been great how you've had a lot of new blood kind of coming into the board and as volunteers, and Ray had really noted that as well. I quite enjoy working with Ray, who comes in from Louisiana to do your evaluation. I think it's great to have an outside perspective. We're kind of in the communities and talk to you enough that sometimes we might miss things. So Ray's perspective is helpful for us to make sure we're not missing things that would benefit you as well. But one of his quotes that he put in his notes was, he had a good quote by a meeting participant: "Old guard mixes well with the new guard." And I think that's really important and really cool. And it's been great to see a lot of younger people step up too and volunteer with you. Let's see here. One of the things that was noted too was the under diversified funding. Obviously, in Michigan, where almost all the main streets are DDAs, so that funding is coming from your TIF revenue. But with your new, fairly new membership or neighborhood kind of drive, I forget what do you call that program
Downtown
again?
Neighbors.
Downtown Neighbors. I think it talks about how not only is it good to help diversify your funding, but it brings those volunteers, additional volunteers in and helps create, just helps grow the people, the patronage of the downtown, as well as kind of the understanding and of what the DDA does. Because one of the other things that was noted in here a little further in is that sometimes that people don't know what the DDA has done, but like say for an event, they might not understand that it was the DDA that really had a big hand in making that such a success. And I know sometimes you're like, it doesn't matter as long as it's a good success, but it does really truly matter because it helps your organization kind of shine and helps people understand the importance of the organization. So that was one of the things that he had noted, and that's under Standard 4, Demonstrated Impact and Results. People know in Clausen know that good things are happening in the downtown, but they don't all seem to know who's responsible for making those things happen. So I think if we could figure out a way to let them know, and that's not overall, and that could have been just a few people too. But I think with the Downtown Neighborhoods program and stuff, that's really, really cool. But overall, I mean, you guys got a whole bunch of 4s and some 5s and. It's
Out of
on
a
scale of
possible
4 to
10.
5, or out of 1 to no, on a scale of 1 to
We
1 to
picked up on
5.
that together.
Yeah, we like to see a lot of 3s, 4s, and 5s, and
Oh,
there were a lot of 4s and 5s in there. A lot of great things going on here in Clausen, and I always like to try to figure out ways in which I can better help bring in people to help you do what you do so well. So. I think one of the things, if there's any way that I could help with a neighborhood program, or if we could provide, maybe bring in an outside consultant to do anything more, I think it's pretty well set. But I think that, I don't know, I think it's a great program. No one else is doing that. And most people, especially I think we found, especially during COVID and coming out, is people really found how important their downtowns were to them if they didn't know it before. And they're willing to spend a little money to make sure that their downtowns are really good. So
I know you had spoke about tracking people, getting an idea where people are coming from, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, we've already discussed this. One of our board members informed us we have a event coming out an outside party, Charlie, and that information that you informed us on where our customers are coming from, I'm wondering if that is the same kind of thing.
We got it from them.
So this old dog does learn new tricks. That's good. I just was confused as to, I'm wondering if it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So, yeah, very
Yeah.
cool.
And I think the restaurant organization that's formed provides such a great opportunity
Yeah.
to really dig into those types of things.
That's great.
Yeah.
Is it Placer that shows where they're coming from?
Placer AI, yes.
And how do I look at that?
Joan
We've got
has the report that she can, share with you. And then we can update that too. And we've done some recent updates because we're a little nervous that we might lose it for a while. So we're looking at other opportunities as well. But yes, she's got that report, and then we can update that report as well.
But it's not like a database or, program that we can play around in.
No.
Unfortunately, not yet. We have it. It's amazingly expensive.
Right.
And we have use of it right now. So we have 2 staff that can log in, because you pay for every login seat. We have it as a county, so we can use it for any of our communities.
But it's only 2 people that have access in the county?
Yeah, well, on our team anyway.
Yeah.
Yep. And so we pull that, and we can pull it for events. So I know Birmingham has asked us specific events, and we were able to go back to 2018 to show because they had a new director, and so she wanted to see. They were talking about Restaurant Week, and is it worth it? Is it not worth it? And the restaurant owners were like, we're all on board, but we're not sure if it's benefiting us. So we did some data, and I'm not sure where she ended up on that, but it was to help them have a more informed decision.
So if we wanted to look at something specific, could we ask for a certain,
We've got it for, in general, right, Charlie? And we've got it for the events.
Yes.
Yes. So you can look at that. We'll get you that
Okay.
report.
Yeah.
And then
it's-
we also did it for areas, like, because we were trying to look at, Sam had asked about retail, what, can I see where people are coming near me? Well, they can't pinpoint it to a business, but they could do a block.
right?
Yeah.
So they did like the 4 corners, they did the blocks to let us see where people were coming from.
Okay, so we could see that,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
And,
because that is the restriction, because it's like a geofencing an area, and the building has to be a certain size
Yeah,
in
you
order
can't tell
for
what door they walk into
Yeah,
necessarily.
exactly. Which I guess is a good thing. I mean, if you think about it.
The traceability aspect of this, in other words, to figure out where people are going, it's traced by their cell phone?
Yes. Every
Yeah.
time you put an app on your phone that says, and they ask you the question of, can we, basically they're asking if they can track you.
Right.
Like, can we put location service on?
Right.
And anytime you put either no, then there's none, or if you hit yes, then, and there's also an option for yes, but only while I'm using the app. So it's still pulling while you're using the app.
Sure.
Or some people just, I mean, our cars are tracking us now too, so. And now we have rings that track us, so I don't know, does it matter? It's a little scary, a little interesting.
Sometimes,
but it's pretty cool to get the data. It really helps our businesses, so.
Yeah. It's very cool.
It's not 100%, you
Yeah.
know, and they'll tell you right off. It's fairly reliable data, but it's not 100%. But I think when you use it with the census tract data that Esri provides, to pull those demographics, it all kind of makes sense, and it shows the right.
And you get immediate feedback. This doesn't take a long time to get that information back.
Right.
So it gives you self-satisfaction, or, it makes you think, well, okay, this was a good event. We'll do it again next year, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's great. You don't
Yeah.
have to wait for a report or somebody to analyze anything. It's basic numbers.
It is, and it's a lot
Yeah.
easier than taking a aerial photo and measuring it and
Yeah.
approximating how many people were in each inch of that
Yeah.
photo. So
Yeah, it's great.
it is helpful and beneficial, and we'll keep providing that data to you and updates on that to you as we go. But I think I think one of the other things that came out when we were talking with everyone last year was some marketing strategies. And so this data is super helpful for that marketing strategy. And yes, some retailers and restaurants are going to pull from different areas, but it still benefits everyone when you can figure out that overall marketing strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So, so those were the marketing strategy, any additional help to kick off with the residential, and then that program allowing, businesses to get a certain, I think you're putting them in your brochures, and that if they paid in outside of the DDA, anything that we can help on those.
Okay.
And then also just think about the trainings that you might want to do. I know you've already put in for your tech visit for this year, but the next year's tech visit will be due in September again. So, it's one of those things to keep
Wow.
thinking about. And then in your town training, had you decided that one?
I think we were going to put that in with the
Tech visit.
with the tech visit for
Combine
the
the two.
master plan update.
Yes, that is correct. Yep. So,
Which is a huge asset to the
Yeah,
DDA
sure
here
is.
in Clawson. It's greatly appreciated.
yeah, sometimes people don't understand that the 7,000 and the 1,500 actually really make a huge difference, and I love to see how far that our Main Street programs can take that money.
Right.
It's very cool. And that was kind of, any other questions for me? I don't want to take too much of your time.
Annika, thank you for your continued support and help.
Yes.
Yeah,
And cheerful disposition.
yeah.
Well,
And
thank you.
you get my email about the May 4th to do the presentation at council.
Oh, yes, I did. Yep. So we will do your accreditation presentation May 4th. So hopefully you can all join, get a good picture with council, and
Oh, boy.
And there's a huge plaque that goes with that, or giant
Yes.
trophy or something.
yeah, big old plaque.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you, Annika.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, the consent agenda. Let's start with the meeting minutes from last time. Do I have an approval, motion to approve the meeting minutes?
I will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes.
Is there a second?
I would second that.
All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Terrific. Now, the financial report from March 2023. We're still missing information.
We are, yes, well, there was a question that I sent you a list of questions. One of them on that list was, is our revenue this year on target? Because it appeared that it was not, that percentage-wise, our tax revenue should have been much higher, or at least higher by this point in the year. And Kelly said she was looking into it, but I don't have an answer. I think, actually, she did then, and a question back, she did answer and say that an adjustment had been made, but my question back is where? Because I don't see it. I did not see it in the February, or in the March or February revenue and expense sheet, so I don't know where it is. So it just needed some.
Well, Joan and I had a meeting with Joe Riker, the city manager, who assured us that he would be getting us the answers to these questions. So I'm hoping that he will do so sometime soon.
Yes, because we still do not have all of our 2022 revenue credited to us, which the auditor showed. The audit showed that our revenue was low based on what we know was received from the county. So that hasn't been taken care of. So that list of questions goes back to March.
We've been fighting with this stuff for, it looks to me like close to a year now.
That, yes. But certainly since the audit, we've been on that one question. But there are a couple others. And yes, hopefully we have an answer soon so that we can put last year to bed and then look forward.
And just to be clear, this is just basic accounting as far as I'm concerned. And the Oakland County does confirm our actual budget with correct numbers.
Well, they confirm the revenue from
The revenue,
from TIF
yes,
and
sorry.
from the millage, yes.
Right.
Yeah, that comes from them,
And that information is forwarded to the city here.
yes.
And for whatever reason, it's not being used.
I don't know what happened. The revenue comes in. I don't know how it didn't get credited to the DDA entirely. There's like $8,000 that's missing.
Right.
So I don't know how that happened. I don't know, or I don't know how this year that they seemed to be low on crediting it back. So I don't know how that works in there.
I know when I was at that meeting too, I was that big elephant in the room. The question back to administration is, show us your work. How do you come up with a shortfall? How do you come up with not answering? How do you show us what you're doing?
And
if
that was
anything?
right. And that show us your work was the question based on the audit when we were at the end of the fiscal year, June 30th. We showed we were $5,000 to the good. I believe it was that. And then at the audit, we were in a deficit of more than $2,000. So
Right.
we had asked we understand that adjustments can be made at the end of the year, but just show us what the adjustments were, what created
Exactly.
that difference.
It's
So,
not a big
yes.
request. It should be academic.
So that again, there was, I don't know, five or six questions on there. Some of them answered, and some of them are still outstanding, and that's one of them.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve the financial reports? Is there a motion not to approve? Does anybody want to make a motion about this? Because we need to either approve them or not approve them as a board.
Have we been suspending them the last couple months while we're
Yes.
waiting? So I think we just suspend for one more month. Her last response was she was working on it 2 weeks ago. I would hope that answer is coming soon, right? And
One
we
would hope.
Suspend for another.
All right, so we will not deal with the financial reports again this month, hoping that someday we can get the stuff cleared up. Correct? Okay, moving on. Director report.
Do we need a vote on that, Madam Chair?
No, we're just not doing it. We didn't have a motion on which to vote.
Okay.
Yeah, a couple things. As far as businesses, things are a little slow this time of year. Grand River Brewery and Downtown Charlie's are still waiting on MLCC approval on their licenses. Those things don't go that speedy. Burger King, as you have all seen, is down. The demo cleanup continues. We did meet with the owners, the development team. We met with the owners and their architect to discuss potential development ideas. So they are going to draw something up. There will be several meetings, at least before that gets ready to go. But they have a direction, and we hope to see something on paper soon.
We know what the direction is, Joan?
Multi-use.
Have they applied for
think-
anything at the city?
Huh?
Has anything been applied for at the city?
No. We just had a meeting to talk with them about the ordinances. You know, they of course read the master plan, read the ordinances. They wanted to go over some things to make sure that they were on target and what did they have to look out for before they start drawing. And so we talked about parking considerations and the site, and that was it.
That lot,
So-
the expectation is it will be built up to the sight line, right?
Yes.
Because it's an extension of the downtown, okay.
Yep, yeah, be built to the lot
Okay.
line. Yeah, so everyone is, I think in the last year, anybody who has talked to us about development says, we like what they did at ACE. So you're trendsetters, everybody wants to see that, and that, that's exactly what, when the Margulises came and talked to us, same thing, we've read your master plan, we know what you're looking for, we think this is it, and yep, they were extremely on target, and so people are following that trend, which is very helpful.
Do we know if they think they're able to put something together that, fits within the ordinances? Are they going to be looking for variances and?
Not at this time, they were looking at what the ordinances would allow. And parking kind of does keep it within our ordinances, pretty much. You can't you can't go 14 stories, you gotta,
Right. Well, that doesn't stop people from trying.
well,
Yeah, typically it's only 3 stories, correct?
it's, 3-story, and the third story has to be set back, so
Right.
as you're
Right.
built right to the sidewalk there, you don't feel like you're, we're not New York, even though 3 stories here is that same feeling. So anyway, that was that. So hopefully we see something on paper soon and can have another nice new development downtown and more residents and people walking and shopping and eating.
Is Grand River, did they apply for any building permits? Are they doing work
No.
there?
I haven't seen any building permits yet, but they did not feel they were going to do a lot inside anyway. So they were kind of involved in helping to get Pumachug set up. So they're happy with the way the interior looks. I think they were going to make one change to get some brewing equipment in on the North Main Road, which had been where.
That's where Black Lotus had their tanks.
had their stuff. Oh, they're going to do it on a much smaller scale, small batch.
Where their
but-
pizza oven is now.
Yeah, well, behind it,
Right.
yeah. So there really wasn't a lot that they're going to do on the interior.
Yeah.
Okay.
They are going to take part in, bring a food truck and take part in the open air fair. So we'll see them then, which is nice. As far as, we've got, commercial construction projects in and around the downtown. Clausen Manor is starting to look really nice with the new facade, the panels, the light blue panels on there, making them look quite new. And Biscuits and Gravy opened today. So that's done, and we have to go see them. So as far as Main Street, there's a couple events. The main event, which is an awards ceremony, kind of a celebration of Main Street for all of the Main Street Oakland County communities, is at the Flag Star Strand Theater in Pontiac on May 4th from 6 until 9. And of course, you're all invited. And Mary Liz, are you in town?
I think I'm out of town that day.
Okay, I need a new date.
Is
So-
that going to interfere with Annika presenting the accreditation at council?
No,
Wasn't that
that's May
before?
2nd.
Oh.
Yeah, she'll be here May 2nd. I don't know if I said 4th, but she'll be here on the 2nd.
Okay.
Council meeting on Tuesday, and this event's on Thursday. Also, the Main Street Summit is tomorrow at Waterford Oaks from 9 until 11 a.m., and that's one of the things that Annika was talking about not tooting our own horn, but letting the county administration is going to be at this event, Dave Woodward and others, and the private partners that work with Main Street, Flagstar, Genesis, PNC. Like Flagstar and Genesis both have grants that are awarded through Main Street, Oakland County, which we have taken advantage of each time that round comes up. So they are asking people to come and show that Main Street's important to us and why. So if anyone can go to that, let me know. That's tomorrow. I think it's really good to show support and let these people know at the county as they fund these programs and as these private partners fund things that it really is important to us and the impact it makes. On grant follow-ups, the Hawk Signal grant is moving forward on schedule. AEW is putting out the project to bid. We also received the landscape plan for the pedestrian islands as part of that sustainability grant from Oakland County. I sent the plan out to you all and to the committee members and some other people, gardeners in the community, for review and comment. The grant allows for changes to be requested, so I don't know plants, but the grant came in. I was told that it was $1,000. The work came in from their designer at $3,100. So, I got back with the county and like, are we on the hook for $2,000? They said, oh, no, we'll cover it. Cool. And we'll come and prep the ground if you want, unless you want your people to do it. I'm pretty good at thinking our people are just fine with having them do it.
My back's sore.
Yeah, but they did give a list of plants and how they would plant them. But again, I don't know those. I don't know plants. So we're looking for a little bit of input. They are going to be small. It did say, that's what one of the committee members pointed out, their plug size. So they'll grow over time, but it will have plants that will be mulched and they'll grow. So.
And these will be plants that are salt tolerant?
Salt and heat and drought, yes, yeah. Okay. So sustainable plants. So okay. That's why we can make some changes, but we aren't going to suggest some things that don't fall within that category.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like there's a few different kind of options that were laid out there, like, oh, do you want this combination or this combination?
Right. And
do you want some with a little bit more height, or do you want to keep it all low? And
I think we're just going to, for me, being a little more visual, I think I'm just going to have to find pictures of those. And
that's what I did. I Google image searched the different things because I was like, I don't know what I knew a couple of them, but.
Yeah, I don't. So, if you've got the pictures, we'll put them together maybe
I could do that.
We'll.
Yeah, because it said like $500 to have them draw it up.
Right.
Which seemed, it's probably a reasonable price, but if we're able to just kind of get a visual on the actual plants.
Yeah, because I don't think that if for $500, if they draw it up, they're not going to give us like a 3D image to let us know what's going to be where. They're just going to give us a plot plan, and that's not going to be helpful as to what does it really look like. So,
a couple.
Maybe anybody who's interested could meet up and kind of square it away what we all thought would, look best and get it going.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Kathy. There's two members on the committee, too, that have been working on this. So we'll pull them in, and maybe we can get together one evening, perhaps Monday, if you're available. And by then, maybe we'll have our pictures together, and we can kind of let them know how we want to go forward. So that would be great. And this is not a matching grant. This is
Are these for all the flower beds?
The islands.
So the
This-
ugly dead stuff in front of our stores?
We're coming to that.
Okay.
But this particular grant was just for the islands,
Okay.
because they've been neglected for even longer time, so. So that's it on grants for right now. We are putting in for the tech visit and in your town training, lumping those together and putting those towards the master plan development. So our budget doesn't take such a hit on that. Joe and Jill were looking to get a meeting set soon from Giffords to get us started on the master plan. And I'll talk to them today at 11 o'clock at the meeting. On other news, our new trash garages and polycarts are expected to be here in a few weeks.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah. So those ugly tables, I have asked DPW to take them away and trash them. And we will have new carts around. We're getting 10. So that should take care of our trash problem, at least on the sidewalks.
And as far as we know, there's no back orders. These trash containers are in stock and will be here.
They are just putting the decals on them and ready to ship.
Okay? Awesome.
And they come assembled.
Even better.
Yeah.
I'll put my Allen wrench away.
That's right.
I will say that while Joan and I were in Boston for the conference, we looked at a lot of trash cans around town. We
Yeah.
laughed
Dig
at ourselves.
inside, too?
In Boston, she means not at the conference, but
Oh,
while
right.
we were walking.
When we walked the streets, we'd
We-
stop and admire trash cans and
Yes.
check out the different brands.
We took pictures of,
And do you
Little
feel that we have
ridiculous.
chosen wisely?
Yes.
Good.
yeah. Code enforcement may begin targeting businesses that leave trash bags on the ground outside of the dumpsters and, don't bother to pick them up and put them in. This has been going on for a long time. They've been told before, sooner or later, there has to be a consequence for doing that, so. Let's see, there is also, I sent you information, the city in August is in charge of trying to get together a May 7th baseball game. I got a couple responses. I let August know that he might have 2 more people there, so. Working with a designer to develop additional downtown neighbors materials and new stationery for the DDA, which Mary Liz has been asking for, but it is outside my skill set. I tried outside, but we have somebody that can do it, so hopefully we can get that going soon. I'm going to meet with her again tomorrow. I'm going to talk to Annika beforehand too and see if she's got some ideas. And that is that for me.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any questions for Joan, anybody?
No.
City manager report. Joe's not here, so I think Joan probably covered everything anyway. So, Dine Clausen.
All right. So we got the spring open air fair coming up on the 20th. Was able to lock in 6 food trucks excluding Grand River and House of Barbecue. So we're looking at Cult of Joe Burger, Luna Moon, which is a handmade lip balm food truck. Not food truck, but truck.
Lip truck?
It's a lip truck.
Oh, boy.
Pops Eats on the Street, which is fried food. Loaded tater tots is kind of their thing. The Mac Truck, which is Detroit Mac Company, so mac and cheese. And then Belly It, which is Asian-inspired sandwiches. So I think some interesting ones that don't really compete directly with anybody. That just kind of bring out like an extra little thing. Tried very hard not to step on anyone's toes with that. Should be getting a meeting invite out there this week. Now with all the new contacts that we have for everybody. Did you send me biscuits and gravy contact?
I did not. I'll
Okay,
get that to
that's
you.
the other one I would
Okay,
need. but,
yeah, that's good.
yeah, so it's good that we have that now to kind of
Right.
get everybody back on page. So.
Charlie, do we know where those food trucks are going to be sitting?
I'm going to lay the map out here shortly. I'm going to try to do basically, they'll be on the streets, on I'm going to try to do one per block, per se. So it gets you that walk-around ability. The main drive is to get the people going to get the social district cocktails, walk around, stop at a food truck, maybe stop at some retail, and kind of get that flow through. So trying to mash them up, try to find places that, like, inherently, I don't want to put Joe Burger right in front of Burger Bar. That doesn't really make sense, but, kind of moving that around so we can kind of, have a flow through a little bit better.
Okay.
So, if you have a desire for a truck, let me know.
I don't want anything in front of the store.
Okay.
Because we're the only retail store on
Yeah.
that side, only thing blocking us, so.
Okay.
There's plenty of room.
There's
to
plenty
set
of room on
something
our
there,
side
yeah,
on a Saturday,
exactly.
so.
Yep. So,
Did you hear from the photo?
I did not. I'm meeting
neither.
with a friend tonight about the photo booth that they do. It's basically just a mobile booth they can set up and see if they can do it outside or what we need to do to make that happen. So we'll see if we can get that locked in.
Okay, because at one time you were talking to somebody and I had somebody
And
interested
just
in
nothing
that.
after
And
that.
then it kind of,
Yeah. So
Okay.
this other one's just kind of like what you'd get at a typical wedding where they'll do a backdrop and, it does gifts, it does the photos, all that as well. So it's kind of a cool little thing. And then they'll be able to upload everything too. So it would give us a lot of photo stock to throw out for the future if we go with this route and what the cost is or whatnot. But
okay,
I'm going to see if it can be a promotional thing.
okay, cool.
So, and that's all for right now.
All right.
Excellent. Okay, alley updates.
I guess I can take that, as far as the artwork in the alley, they were waiting, when I stopped in last week, they were waiting for the wire mesh that goes inside the heart. And then they'd be ready for it to go for painting. Although while we were in the meeting, I did get a call from the collision shop where it's going for painting, so perhaps it's there. I'll find out. And then it will be ready to be installed. So I'll find that out and then coordinate with DPW to see about getting it in. And then we're ordering a couple sets of additional tables and chairs for the alley.
Have the poles been installed yet, that artwork? is
Well, it's
going to
all
be-
assembled, it's all,
Oh, it's connected to the poles?
yeah.
Okay.
I can't think of the word I'm looking for where it's welded. It's all welded together. And then they will prime it and put on a rust corrosive thing and then paint it.
The poles themselves
The
don't
whole
go in the
thing.
ground then?
Huh?
The poles themselves don't go in the
Oh,
ground?
no, they do. They go down past the frost line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So those aren't installed as of yet?
It's all welded together. It will go in as a unit.
Okay.
We all got excited because it got warm last week, but
Right.
it's still only April.
Throw some sand in
Yeah,
there,
we've got
call it
another
a
2-3
beach.
months of winter, so there's no,
Our free trial of spring is over.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
we're on our third winter.
Yeah, so it's on track to go in. And we'll talk, we've been talking next steps and what's coming next for art and additional things.
okay.
Yeah, that was it for alley.
I think we covered landscaping and streetscape earlier, didn't we?
Well, we do have.
What are we missing?
We talked about some of it, but what we are missing is that the committee is submitting for the Flag Star grant through Main Street, Oakland County, for banners and planters. That's a $2,500 matching grant. So we're going to submit for 25 banners that will intersperse with the existing blue banners. I sent you a picture of one that they're recommending, which is just kind of bright yellow background, blue, colorful. I know. There is another company that quoted last year that was very, very close in price. And I've got to call into them to find out if they can do something, because they're local, if they can do something similar and even on a shorter timeline, then we could go with that. So hopefully I can get an answer on that today and can send you, a picture. And then those banners will add color in lieu of the hanging baskets until we come up with a system for watering. And, we may have to order all new baskets. Val and I looked at some at the conference that will probably work out better. They're also, the committee that ran the grant, they're also going to put in for 5 planters from a company called Earthworks, which has a water reservoir, big pots with a whole water reservoir in it. And you only have to water them like once or maybe twice a week. I think maybe even once a week on those bigger ones because it holds a lot of water. So cut down on our maintenance. And they've had them in some other communities right around here. They've had them in Lathrop, I think, going on their 3rd year. And they leave them up. They're outside. They're around the city, but they're outside their city building too. And in the winter, they just there's a plug. You pull the plug, drain out the water, and then you can put in evergreens and stuff for the winter. So. So we will be putting in for the full $2,500. That with $5,000, we could cover the banners and the pots, I do believe. I would ask that we perhaps have a motion for up to $2,800. In case we don't get the grant, then that would cover the banners at least, and then we can decide going forward if we don't get the grant how we go forward with ordering the planters. But that would get our banners.
That sounds like
Ordered.
a good idea. I'll make that motion.
Is there a
For
second?
2,800.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor of approving $2,800 for banners in the downtown?
Aye.
Aye.
Do we know when we find out about the grant? When the results come out?
I understand it's a very short window.
Okay.
It's due this Friday, and we should have an answer fairly quickly. The review process is short because it's right there within Main Street, Oakland County.
Good.
Okay.
So I guess I kind of jumped forward on that. Consideration of banners was later in the thing, but that's okay.
But you were doing such a good job, I didn't see any
We
reason
just
to
kept
derail
going.
you.
Yep.
All right. New business, review of the budget. Joan?
Anybody have any questions?
We have lots of questions, many of which remain unanswered, so I think that,
Well, yeah. I think the questions that I
Valerie,
had
do you have some stuff?
were answered as far as clarification, I think, as, like, we have some adjustments to make this year in general. There's a little bit more going out to the city because of the new allocation of, like, indirect costs. So I think we, maybe need to reevaluate on our end, like our, project budgets and things a little bit more. That was only a few days ago we looked at those differences, so
Yeah,
I think we need a little more time to.
I just got the budget last week and said, here you go. If you have questions, get them back to me tomorrow, the next day by 5, which was rather short to have a conversation with,
Right.
too short to have a conversation with anyone.
Right. I think, like, one of the things that, we've done differently anyways is we've lumped our budget into bigger buckets as far as, like, the committees and stuff, so we don't really have room to change them. So as far as approving it on paper, we might be okay, but figuring out what that, it's maybe a $10,000 kind of loss this year. So, but we've also seen increased revenue the last couple of years too, so it may not affect our everyday, but it does affect maybe like the goals of where we could see more spending.
And I'm not entirely sure on the revenue yet. Kelly, our finance director, said I could plan on like I think she said 4.5% increase. But I talked to the county day before yesterday on Monday, and the settlement sheets that show actual collected will be out later this week, and they'll send them to me. And then we'll have a real clear idea of what revenue is for TIF and for millage.
Okay, so this 178-ish thousand is based on that 4.5% increase, so it's an estimate at this point?
The 184 on the 2003-24.
I'm looking at this budget
23-24.
analysis sheet.
Huh?
Am I looking at the right sheet?
I'm looking at the 23-24 budget is what I was told.
Maybe I printed it off wrong.
Okay. I
I
was
don't
told
have that column.
Okay.
But yeah, okay. But the
So,
number, our
but
total
we'll
is,
know,
okay.
because, but hopefully by the end of the week, the sheet that they send me will have a column for actual collected, and then I can pick out of actual collected by the city. Then I can pick out the DDA lines and do the math for the millage, so
Okay.
then we will have a correct, rather than an estimate, we'll have a real clear idea of where we are. The budget went to, all of the budgets went to council last night in draft form. I don't know, I tuned into the meeting too late to catch what action was taken, or if there was any action taken, or what questions may have been there, so we can find that out, where council stands on this.
Okay.
So there really is
So we want to
no
wait to
action to
adopt
be
this?
taken at this time?
No, it's just trying to keep up with not knowing what we're reading, or not knowing, anyway. Just trying to stay on top of the information that we have as we try to get more.
Right.
I think we covered the consideration of purchasing the banners
Yes.
and consideration of landscaping quotes, Joan.
We got a couple quotes. One of them we had last month, and that was, I think what they were looking at was, well, they included the pedestrian islands, but they also looked like they were considering taking everything out and doing a complete do-over, which I don't think we're quite there, that we can better use our funds a little differently. So I did ask Sunnyside for a quote, who did our planting beds and built the planters, and did our original planting. I had a lot of use of that word. They came in at $3,100 to clean everything up, put down, weed kill, come back later, and then they'll repair where the planters have kind of crumbled. There's some of the built-up ones have some areas where bricks are needing some repair. There's one in front of the yarn stop where the in-ground one, it needs some work. So they will fix all of that also, and then replace plants that need replacing, ones that have failed over, the year. So $3,100 is what we need to get that done.
I think
thought
it's
this company was
37.
pretty good.
Yeah, it says 37 on here.
Does it say 37? Okay, sorry, it was
Going
late.
from memory.
So is it 31 or 37?
It is just the 37. I'm not, yeah.
Okay.
It would be nice to maybe look at, and maybe it's not a this year project, and that'd be okay, if we're putting the native plants in the pedestrian islands, some of those may end up doing better, especially like on the corner where the daylilies and the grasses
Right.
just kind of
And-
failed.
On the corner, one of the things that the committee was looking at was those planters. They have a rectangular one that fits in that space, and they wanted to know about, because it's on an angle. If we straightened it, dug down, got the dirt flat, putting a planter in there where it could flower, it would give a little bit of height. So they're going to include that in there, and I will tell Sunnyside, just don't bother with that bed for now. Don't put more stelladoras in there. Because they were not as robust, those corners, as they could be. But I think something with a little bit of height and some overflowing type of plantings would look much better.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we have a motion to spend $3,700 on planting in the downtown?
I'll make a motion to spend $3,700 on the landscaping.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed unanimously. Okay. So now let's talk about spending money on Maestro software management.
And I put this in because I wasn't clear on whether this had to be an annual cost, in which case it would be $600, $100 over my spending limit, but it's actually $20 a month. We can pay annually, but it is $20 a month with no contract.
Is it cheaper to pay for a year?
No. So we do have a program called Downtown Diva. It's very difficult to use, and you can only use it on the FileMaker platform. So it just makes it a lot more difficult. This is cloud-based. Everything is on there, your contacts, your business owners, each business, and if somebody owns multiple properties or multiple businesses, it lists everything. It's just it seemed to be a very streamlined and easy-to-use program. We looked at it in Boston and thought, well, $600, yeah.
When we talk about things like the ability to look at data more collectively, I think like having a really easy-to-use sort of DDA business management, it looked really nice.
Joan, I'm a little confused. You're talking about $20 a month and $600.
It was, if you pay annually, right?
That's $50 a month. Is it 50? That would be 600.
I think you took,
Oh, I'm not having a good numbers day today. Sorry, folks.
pretty sure you said it was 50 a month the other day.
Okay,
I took a note too. Hold on.
yeah.
Lots of notes in my phone.
But if it's a robust program that's going to take care of the contact management and all that stuff, I think it sounds like a good idea.
Yes.
So, do I have a motion to approve $50 a month or $600 a year for the Maestro software management? I'll make a motion. What the hell? Is there a second for my motion? Excellent. All in favor of approving this purchase?
Yes.
Aye.
Perfect.
It is 50. I see in my note when I wrote it down. So
Okay.
it's a contact management for volunteers, including like their assignments at an event, et cetera, for business ownership. It gets rid of all the spreadsheets. That was his sales line. So, and holds the property info, including like assessed value, the zoning, just kind of like an all-in-one for what we do.
It'd be great to have one place to refer to, one place that has all the information when you're,
And easier to use. Like I said, Downtown Diva
Right.
did that, but it just was difficult. It was almost like you really can't get there from here.
well, the Diva is dead to us now.
Diva is gone.
Can you transfer whatever information you have in the Downtown Diva easily into this one?
They can.
Perfect.
They will give
Yes.
us 3 hours of free data entry as a special promotion from the.
Oh, you could work for them.
Yeah, so luckily we do have that from when we inputted it before, so I just need to update a couple lines on that and send it over to them, and they will pop it all in the program.
Excellent.
The nice thing about this, too, is that other people can have access to it. We can have an admin and then other levels of people that can access it. Since it's a cloud-based program, you don't have to have, something, a separate running system on your computer that's going to allow you to access it, so.
Okay. Any other comments from our board? And we have a guest today. Do we have anything from the public? Well, we're glad you're here. It's fun to have an audience. We feel really popular now.
How do we do? Does it sound okay? Okay, good.
Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I will make a. Oh.
Okay, a unanimous double motion and second. All in favor of adjourning at 9 o'clock?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for being here early. Thank you all.
Thank you.